The technology companies that own these platforms like Instagram and Facebook are locked in an arms race to seize your attention, and that race is tearing apart our shared social fabric. I listened to this awesomely but scary podcast that I highly recommend, and I'll get Megan to put it in the comments below. It's called Your Undivided Attention. It exposes the hidden designs that have the power to hijack our attention, manipulate our choices, and destabilize our real-world communities. You've got to have living in Shrek's cave for the past 5 years if you have not experienced the rise of hatred, perceived hatred towards farmers in this country. Or is it just that farmers are seeing it more due to the algorithms? It's very confusing, but I am getting nervous going into another election of the tactics of the extreme left that they will pull, as their voices will not be as listened to as much as New Zealand are falling in love back with our food producers. So let's do this right. If you just joined the show tonight, joining us on the show tonight to discuss his first-hand experience in moderating New Zealand's farming Facebook page is Mid-Canterbury deer farmer, Duncan Humm. Firstly, Duncan, thank you so much for joining us. Level 2, what are you looking forward to the most? Of course, you've been continuing as an essential service.
Yeah, well, it's been pretty like a life of two worlds, because I've got this essential service job, as almost this life is normal. So we've got that, and then but then there's the other side. I come home to a wife who's not working aside from at home, and then daughter getting schooled at home, and it's two different worlds really. It's quite surreal.
She is the cutest little thing, that daughter of yours. I love following her. First, Duncan, can you just explain what an average day really looks like for you as the editor of such a large social media community, and how you farm in between it all?
Oh, it's just pretty much most of the time, like if we're pretty quiet on the page, it just means that we're all busy doing something on the farm typically. So it's not often we have a real quiet day that we can do heaps, but there's usually someone on the team that can do stuff, so that's cool. But it's generally just any minute, like I might be following a mob of deer up the lane, or just shutting a gate and putting a mob away, and just have a quick look at the updates and make sure everything's ticking along. And it's I'd hate to think what it adds up to over a day though.
Don't want your screen time report to come through on your phone.
No, I turned it off.
Hey, Duncan, NZ farming, let's be honest, it's come a long way. There'll be a lot of people that in the earlier days it was all over the show a little bit in terms of the commentary, but it's certainly a large place now to moderate, and you do it, I believe, respectfully with the New Zealand mission in mind. How hard is it to not bring in your own personal opinions and being able to be that because you have such a large influence now?
Yeah, we'll still, if we've feel pretty strongly about something, we'll obviously editorialise a bit, and then but most of the time it's just sort of sitting back and or just sort of picking the right topics to explore in the right way, whether it just be picking the right article to post about a subject that's, because we quite often think that if an article is written wrong or it's not explained in the right way, it can have quite a big effect on those that are reading it. And then obviously once you read the article and then have a look through the comments, those two together can be either a win or a fail.
What have you watched? And obviously, right when Facebook we really climbed into each other around misunderstandings, years ago. Have we pulled back a bit? Is it getting less aggressive? What sort of trends are you seeing?
It used to be sort of just a no holds barred
boxing match.
real Wild West. But there's still always a bit of that. But I think most people nowadays have realised that just that one post that they do can have quite a profound effect on other people, and it's a lot better sometimes. But
there has been moments on there, I've got to be honest, that I've been so mad at my fellow rural people, and in particular was the young girl that wanted to come over here to work, good looking, beautiful girl. and the sexist, disgusting behaviour that was written underneath that. I mean, it can't be fun to be able to be the guy in charge of telling people just come on, pull your head in.
And to be when you tell people to pull their head in, and then they get pretty angry about it as if it's normal, which is was most unusual, and what was just like the coolest. One of the big things we look for a lot because we get people messaging all the time, anyone got a job? And then when you get someone, it's, once in a blue moon, where you get an ad that comes through that's just so articulate and well put together, and you get a real good feel for that person and their attitude towards the job. And you're like, oh, it'd just be so awesome. That person needs a job, and they'll be the right person right there for them. So, that was definitely what we were thinking with that post, because she seemed like a real good operator, and then to have it spiral on you like that is it was pretty disappointing.
What sort of things have you seen where we've been able to achieve positive perception by putting out some really good stories through a big platform like NZ Farming?
I think, it's probably that community spirit. I think when there's something going wrong, whether it's like a big fire or a flood or earthquake or anything like that, when the community just comes together and just shows its heart and its depth, is just an amazing thing. Like last week we had a post, something drought related, a guy looking for feed or something like that, and just I think in mailbox we had probably 10 people by the end of the day messaging saying, hey, we've got grazing for this guy, put us in touch. So
wow.
It's just amazing how fast it can go on a negative space, but it's just such a super cool thing when it happens in a positive light. Some cool things can happen.
And as I was just saying there in the introduction, we share the fear of that one photo that can bring all our good work down. And I mean, obviously last winter, the anti-grazing campaigners were out. What would be your advice to farmers who are a victim or target of this sort of straight up bullying, to be fair?
Yeah, well, I suppose first of all, we've got to be pretty accountable to ourselves on how does, when you drive up your road looking over your own fence, you've almost got to take a pretty, look at yourself like over your own fence like a tourist and think, well,
how does that look?
I stack up? How do I actually stack up? And then, there will be people who don't do that will get caught, and they'll be the ones that let us down. And then there'll be other people, it's happened here on this farm a couple of times, whether it's been, big rain or something, that someone's got out or something's made, mob of deer have made a muddy mess overnight, and you do just genuinely get caught sometimes. And that's the worst thing, is when people do get genuinely caught out, is when, it can go wrong. If someone just happens to be driving, some tourist or activist drives past and takes a photo, then it's all on.
Just to close, Duncan, do you take your level of influence with such great weight and responsibility, do you believe?
I mean, we never thought when we started out, back in the Wild West days, that it could turn out to be this big and this popular, and it does come with a massive amount of responsibility that we have to take it pretty seriously, because whether you're just one person on Facebook or one person in charge of 200,000 people on Facebook, it's pretty big responsibility.
Duncan, there's this really awesome campaign, and we're talking to the founder of it on Monday night. It's called The Naked Farmer. Are you going to get right in behind and pushing to get in these photo submissions?
Definitely. I've got my idea already for what I'm going to do, so watch the space.
And also keep watching To Sarah's Country, because our guest towards the end of the show has been quite actively supportive of Naked Farmer, among other things, and we'll have to stay tuned to find that out. Duncan, thank you so much for taking the time, and send my love to Lorna and to Isla. That was just gorgeous family that you've got there in Mid-Canterbury, and we'll talk really soon.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
This is Sarah's Country.